everyone, it's Jen again, and we are coming to the end of another week of Otomejam 2024. This week was a lot of writing, it was a lot of tweaking, so there's little kind of just tiny improvements everywhere. I started putting in some of the audio assets just to kind of like see what we're working with, so some of it is just temporary. I don't know how much of it I'm going to be changing out. Yeah, it's it was a lot of just kind of like restructuring as I was kind of implementing new things. But the one thing that I found the most helpful this week that I thought I would share with you is these creator statements that are unfortunately not native to RenPy, but are incredibly useful for any type of a narrative-driven game, especially. I have down here, and I will also link to this in the description below, the 3 creator-defined statements. It's worth giving a read over, and it unlocks a lot of like potential. So in my last video, I had mentioned something about making lists of different dialogue in order to kind of randomize some of the dialogue that would be on these repetitive options, such as the chat was going to be unique. Every time you summon the character, it's going to be a unique kind of like dialogue progression. But for things like the dressing up and gifting and petting options that are just really there to build affection, they are not going to have progressive dialogue in the same way. It's going to be, instead of based on number of visits, because certain visits you will not be dressing them up in every single item. You can only dress them up in one item per visit. So these responses are going to be dependent on the current bond level with the character, and it'll take a random block of text. So again, this is not something that's native to RenPy out of the box, so you do have to kind of plug in this code here in order to access it. And what it looks like is when you are trying to randomize that block of text, as opposed to doing lists when I was trying to do it the list way. One thing that I wasn't able to do, at least like figure out in an easy way that was like kind of easy also to parse, is like be able to do things like add expression cues with the character, sound cues, multiple lines, as opposed to having just like one line was pretty easy to do with lists. But once you wanted to like have like a chunk of something happen randomly, it became very clunky and just very like they had like little pieces all over the place. So what this again, creator statements lets you do is it gives you lets you do this kind of random, where you can make blocks of random text. So instead of like the other way that I used to do this also was like just doing like a random integer, and then like saying if it's a 1, then this block of text, if it's a 2, it's this block of text, if it's a 3, it's this block of text. Well, this kind of like helps get rid of all that. It just makes it more concise and easier to kind of like navigate as you're going through and writing these long kind of like possibilities for dialogue. So with these character interactions being kind of like repeated every time you initiate the like the dress up option in this case. So he says something, kind of like introducing this story block, or this little interaction, and you can see here on his kind of like dress code that right now he's at a low bond level. So he's selecting from like these three different options, and in this case it took the third option. So that way, when you're at a lower bond level, it has a little bit of randomness, so he's not just like completely repeating himself over and over and over again. But at the same time, I don't have to come up with like, you know, an infinite number of ways of like basically saying the same thing. When I chose to kind of like split these up into 3 milestones, because the kind of like closeness that you were developing with the character kind of changes like the way that he reacts to this like idea of you putting something on him. So his attitude becomes better over time. If that makes any sense. Okay, so same goes with putting on the item. So again, we can see I've got my menu here where we're going to do that condition switch where now the sprite's going to change to reflect that you put the earband on. We're going to jump to the earband dialogue options, and I've got a block of text. It's here somewhere. Earband, yes. So for the low kind of level of bonding, then he's not really that thrilled about wearing these because he thinks that you're basically calling him a rat. But later on, he becomes to think that, oh, you think this is cute. He takes it a little more charitably as you increase your bond with him. Huh. And again, this kind of outro to this interaction is also a random. I decided to make it 3 different options to randomize per kind of like milestone, relationship milestone. I thought that was like a good balance of not having it repeat too much. At least you have like less chance of it repeating than equal chance or more chance of it repeating. And while at the same time like not making an insurmountable amount of writing for me to do during the period of this game jam. But I could always go back and add more dialogue options if I have a lot of extra time at the end, which I don't really know that it's looking like that's going to happen, but you know, who knows? So anyways, I highly encourage you all to check out those creator statements if you already haven't. I wish that I discovered them years ago, so please do consider how they could be used in your project to help you organize your dialogue or options if you have kind of like randomized consequences to player choices or menu choices. Let's see. What other things do we have to kind of show off? We started actually giving full context to this game. So we have an actual kind of like scene progression here outside of the summoning mechanic. So we have actual like a story opening, kind of daily reflections to kind of summarize some of the player choices, as well as just help the story kind of progress day from day. We do have this calendar that will be filled up, so the player is going to have a time limit of 31 days to, I guess, decide or commit to one of the characters to pursue their ending. There will be probably an ending where if you don't want to finalize any of the relationships, then you just kind of get a nothing burger ending, I guess. We have the phone with the different app options here. Oops, I have to do the email. So here we have a message from the developers that are kind of giving you again, more story info and context as to what is going on, and this will also progress day to day outside of the bonding progression with the characters. you'll be able to keep track of your bonds here. We have the gacha here. So getting the items, the inventory screens are starting to look a little bit more fleshed out, although we still have to do some things with like the buttons and everything. There will be a summoning animation and kind of like icons instead of having all this text to show what items are received, to make that look a little bit better. We've got a selling store here, so you can go in and sell your items. If you have too many of them and you don't want them, then you can get back some of your currency so that you can play the gacha more. We've got the ad clicker with earning more currency that way. And yeah, I think that is pretty much everything. I think we showed the inventory, or sorry, the room decoration before. Yeah, that's been my week. Hope you all are having a good week and enjoy the long weekend. If you've got Monday off, I've got Monday off, so I'm super thrilled about that. And I will just be crunching out lots of text, lots of dialogue. That is my major, pretty much like second month of development is going to be mostly writing and polish. These types of things always take longer than the most noticeable like major assets, in my opinion. So if you ever have a 2 week a 2 month or whatever your total of your game jam is, if you can have the majority of all your major mechanics, your major assets, kind of just like how the game is going to flow at the halfway point, then you're probably pretty comfortable. At least that's how I like to try to gauge my workflow and feel comfortable that I will make my deadlines. Alright, again, take care. Don't forget to join the process. Bye bye.